Welcome back. My name is Circa, and I get a lot of things done. I don't mean to brag, not trying to boast, definitely don't mean to puff my chest up, but the simple fact is that I've been a busy boy for the past 4 years, and I'm not alone. The entire team here at Indepreneur is quite productive, and many of the indies in our community are too. But unfortunately, many of my fellow creatives out there are still suffering. They have yet to switch on, to activate, to turn the corner, to reach their final form. And the reason I was able to become more productive is largely thanks to my time spent marketing for software and mobile app startups. There's nothing quite like the efficiency of creative work that coders and developers are able to achieve, and it just may be the best antidote for your productivity or lack thereof. So, if you'd like to understand why it seems like so many others can crush so many tasks while you have trouble even finishing one day with a completed task, let's get into it. And before I begin, I want to give a huge shout out to friends of the channel and sponsors of today's video, Shift. I'll be talking more about Shift later on in this video, as it happens to be something that has contributed massively to my productivity, but for now you should know that Shift is a revolutionary software product that clears up a massive amount of clutter for digital professionals like myself. Now, there are 3 main things that I have fixed about my own productivity, which when I consult with indies are often one of the culprits behind their own productivity troubles. To help you remember these 3 items, we're going to reduce them to one-word names: grounding, waste, and blockers. We'll start with grounding. Now, when I worked in the software world, a phrase that got thrown around a lot was run it to ground. Hey, can we run that to ground on the call tomorrow? Yeah, I just gotta run it to ground and then we'll see if there's time for it in the sprint. Running it to ground means taking an idea and making it a set of tasks, a plan that you can execute on. Now, as creatives, we constantly generate new ideas in a way that almost ensures that they won't get done. We start phrases with "we should" and then leave the ideas that follow hanging in the air as if the work fairy is gonna scoop them up and make them all a reality, when the fact is that 99% of the ideas, plans, and strategies you generate live in that air where you spoke them. They never made it to ground. Now, running an idea to ground means answering some crucial questions. What needs to happen? What should happen or be possible if this idea were executed? What are the subtasks and categories of subtasks that need to be accomplished in order to make this idea a reality? Who is responsible for what tasks? Who can I delegate tasks to? How can I be sure they'll accomplish it? What is the deliverable they are supposed to produce? When will this be finished? How long will it take? What is a reasonable amount of time to allow for each task to get completed? Here on the Indepreneur team, we've really cleaned up our act over the last year when it comes to running ideas to ground. What you're looking at right now is one of our project templates in Asana, which is a task management application. And you're looking at Asana through my Shift browser. So you can see all of my different work applications are listed here on the left. All of my email accounts are listed, and they're only 1 click away, which I'll talk about more in a second. This is a giveaway template. Anytime we run a giveaway here at Indepreneur, we use this template. We just copy this to one of our project boards in Asana, and then we start filling it out. We give it a name, we start following the instructions in the card. This card pretty much ensures that we will run this giveaway to ground. So if we had an idea in a meeting like, let's do a February giveaway for 2021. Let's reach out to our partners. That doesn't have to live in the air as an idea. We immediately strike up one of these templates, rename it, and start assigning it out to ourselves so that we can basically ensure the giveaway is going to go down. You want to ensure that it's going to get done before you walk away from the idea. When you go from not running any ideas to ground to running most of them to ground, you begin creating a running list of what you need to do and when. Now, for me, every morning begins with opening up Asana and seeing what tasks I have to complete for the day. And a majority of those tasks are small parts of a larger, chunkier project that was run to ground weeks or even months before. So instead of spending all day, every day wondering what I should do next to accomplish my goals, I have that already laid out for me in a manageable, smaller tasks sort of view. And as long as I clear out my to-do list each day, I'm accomplishing many important projects at once, and I can be sure of that. This also allows me to prioritize projects and move due dates around based on absolute need, not just confusion, laziness, and overwhelm. I'm actually optimizing my work schedule instead of having my workload pulverize me every single day. If you don't already have a task management application, you should get one. We use Asana, but there's also Trello, Basecamp, Monday, and dozens of other options. Luckily, all of the apps I just mentioned, plus a laundry list of other productivity, marketing, and business applications online, can be integrated directly into Shift, who is the kind sponsor of this video. Now, not too long ago, I made an unsponsored review of Shift's version 4.0, and I had nothing but great things to say about it. Shift stores the websites you use most as applications in its sidebar so that you can pull them up whenever you need to, and you're already logged in and there's no loading and there's no problems. This also prevents you from wandering around the web while you're trying to work. Pretty much every application I have in my Shift is focused on productivity. It's something I might need during a work day. Look at all of these apps that Shift integrates with. There's pretty much no work-based application that you couldn't work into your Shift account and then have it ready to be pulled up at any time. Now, if you'd like to save on Shift, Shift has been so gracious as to give us a public discount code that we can give to our audience members, and you can get a Shift Premium account for 10% off. All you have to do is enter in FSC10 at checkout, and your order will be discounted 10%. I can't tell you how much Shift has made my life easier as someone who gets a lot done every single day, and I highly recommend that you check it out if you're looking to be more productive. Now, products like Shift can make your life easier when you start running your tasks to ground and getting a lot done every day, because every second counts for highly productive creatives. Your ideas can be well grounded if you ground them by always running it to ground. Second on our list of things that absolutely suck for creatives who can't get unstuck is waste. Industrial management frameworks like Lean Six Sigma talk a lot about waste because in manufacturing, a little bit of waste can compound over tens of thousands of units and end up being a massive loss to the company in the millions of dollars. And the same principle applies to creative work. Now, there are three types of waste I see that can be easily addressed. Number one, rushing and redoing. Now, I like writing songs, I like writing stories, but I don't like writing, which means I don't like writing scripts. Late last year, I went off script. I decided to start using a rough outline to record the more than 200 videos I create each year for our channel, our trainings, and our social content. And you know what? I was being wasteful. When I don't have a script, I repeat things, which means I could be editing a line of dialogue for minutes before realizing that there's another take that I actually wanted to use. And when I don't have a script, it means a lot more quick cuts, which means a lot more editing. While there's an element of instant gratification and even a challenge to playing everything fast and loose, I found that measuring 10 times and cutting once is always quicker than measuring once and cutting 10 times. Number two, reinventing the wheel. Have you ever had a project that was so large you had to start using a framework or a system to manage it and make sure it gets done? And I want you to think back to that project template we were looking at earlier. It was created because we don't want to have to reinvent the wheel every time we go to run a giveaway. We want a template that we can unpack, deploy, make better over time, and generally save ourselves tons of frustration and effort. And the third type of waste is context switching. If you're recording songs, recording videos, and doing work on social media all in the same day, you're probably wasting time. The point here is that you have a set of tools, ways of thinking, terms and terminology, and problem-solving styles in your head at any given time. Those all change depending on the type of task you're currently working on. And when you switch the type of task you're working on, you also have to switch all of those things. Instead, you should be doing as much work as you can without switching the context. And this will do two things for you. First, obviously, it's gonna cut down on the actual time you spend switching context, logging into different applications, pulling out different equipment or resources or data. And that's another reason I love using Shift, because it ensures that I'm cutting out the waste of typing in URLs, logging in and out of applications. It seems like a few seconds, but those few seconds add up. But secondly, and more importantly, it's gonna prevent more of those situations where you feel tired or burnt out in the middle of the day or the middle of the week. And lastly, The third reason that I see a lot of creatives have trouble getting work done is blockers. In the developer/engineer world, blockers are things that prevent you from doing the tasks on your to-do list. When you're working on a team, you'll often have external blockers, and those are pretty obvious. You need graphics from Jamel before you can create this landing page. I've even seen creatives stop all work entirely because of a single blocker on a single task. They could have gotten everything else done and circled back around, but they're letting this one blocker prevent them from doing anything. But more importantly, you need to be honest with yourself about internal blockers. Are you avoiding a task you really hate? Do you not know enough about a certain task in order to accomplish it? Or do you assume you need someone else's help when really you could figure it out for yourself? These internal blockers are the most insidious productivity killers, and they cause perfectly rational people, like yours truly, to lie to myself about why I'm not getting anything done. When a task you have scheduled for yourself doesn't move for 5 days, you need to figure out why and get it cleared. To summarize, there are 3 things that often make creatives unproductive in my experience. Grounding. Creatives aren't taught the practical management skill of turning ideas into scheduled and assigned projects. 2, waste. Creatives generate novel ways of doing everything. We often have ADHD, and we often enjoy ideation much more than execution. This leads to a lack of systems and processes for accomplishing tasks, a scattered to-do list that makes us context switch constantly, and a habit of half-assing the execution and having to do things twice. And 3, blockers. Creatives let themselves and others be the reason they don't accomplish tasks. So how do you solve this? Well, you can start running your ideas to ground by getting a task management application like any of the ones that integrate directly with Shift, and running to ground every idea you have. Treat it like a diet. You're trying to create a long-term habit here. Maybe you falter a few times in the first month, but you're going to have to pay concerted effort until it's a reflex. Now you can stop wasting your time by taking your time executing tasks to make sure you don't have to do it twice, by scheduling your days to be themed around a certain type of task or two to prevent context switching, and by creating and following systems for projects that you can repeat every single time and make better over time. You can stop being blocked by communicating blockers to those you work alongside, and by being honest with yourself about the real reason that one task's due date has been rescheduled 18 times now. My hope is that by outlining these productivity killers, you can start to see how you may have been guilty of one, or in my case, all of them, and you can implement real changes that make you more productive with each passing day. I'd like to give one more thanks and shout out to our sponsor and your ultimate productivity partner, Shift, for sponsoring this video and helping more indies get more done. If you like this video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, because we drop stuff like this all the time. If you're a creative, ultimately, we're trying to help you out and make your life easier. And if you do subscribe, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.